In the previous lecture, we have seen how we can extract values, but sometimes it might be that there are multiple information, so it is better to split the column. For example, we can see in the state, there's also the state abbreviated, and then the full state, and then also the city. In here, it would be more meaningful to just split the column. And the same goes also for latitude and longitude. We would like to keep them both, but we would just use some kind of tool to split this column. Therefore, let's first go with our state and state abbreviated. To split this column, we just need to select it. And then if we are, for example, in the home ribbon, we have this option split column. If we click on it, we have again multiple ways of splitting the column. We can choose, for example, by delimiter, which we've also already seen when we have extracted values. But then we also have by number of characters. This will just use a fixed length. So for example, if we are selecting it, we can enter a specific number of characters after which it will be split. For example, if I enter the value 2, I can see if I select, in this case, repeatedly, it will always, after every 2 characters, split the column. So we get, in this case, a lot of different columns. And then also, we can just say we want to just split it once at the very left side or also at the very right side. For example, if I do repeatedly, and let me use the value 6, we split it into multiple columns. So in this case, of course, this doesn't make sense. Therefore, I will just remove this step again. So now you can choose, if you select this column and you split it, which of those options would you use in our case? Of course, pause the video and see if you can find the solution. So in this case, of course, I would use by delimiter. If we select it, we can either use one of those delimiters that we have per default available out of the box, colon or comma or so on, but we can also use a custom delimiter. If we select custom, we can enter our own delimiter. And in this case, even it looks like it has picked up this hyphen correctly. If we now go to OK, it will split the column. But in here, it has only split it at the very right side. So therefore, let's go again into this step and see if we need to make some additional changes. In this case, I had selected rightmost delimiter, but we would want to have each occurrence of the delimiter so that it splits it whenever this delimiter appears. And since I have modified this step, I can just update this step and then it will split it into those 3 columns. So this is now pretty good. Of course, we need to rename the column. So let me just double click and then we have state abbreviated. Then we have also the next one. This is just the state. And then again, double click into the last one because this is our city. Additionally, we now have also this last column. Here we also want to split it. Again, pause the video, see if you can find how you would split this column. In this case, of course, when we have selected this column, we go to split column and we choose by delimiter in this case again. We could actually in this case also split it after a specific number of occurrences, but it would be much easier in here to just again choose a delimiter. What would be the delimiter we choose? We could just choose a white space, then a forward slash, and again a white space. Like this, we also remove all of those white spaces in between, so we are just left with those numbers. In this case, of course, it doesn't matter where we split it because there is only one split. So therefore, let's click again on OK, and then we have those columns split. Of course, let's again rename it. First we have latitude, afterwards we have longitude. So if I'm entering this, I have now split this successfully. And now, of course, we want to also choose the right data type. So let me just select no specific column, and then we want to go to transform. And in here, we need to choose the right data type. So for example, let me just select all of the columns. I just click on this long column. I hold the shift key and then I click on the last one. Like this, all of the columns are selected. And now if I go to transform, I can go to detect data type and then all of those have been detected. In this case, there was not so many, so most of them were text, which is fine. And we should always check if everything is okay and if there are some errors. So we can see this also in this column profile in here. So this looks all good. And now also that we have seen how we can use this split column tool, let me just again go back to, for example, the city ID. We have also the option, as we have seen when we go to split columns, to split by position. If I select this, we can just enter specific positions after which there should be a split. Let's maybe use just the city column as an example. And in this case, if I go again to split by positions, I could enter, for example, right in the beginning. This should be the starting point, and this starts always with a 0. Then using a comma, I can enter all of those positions. So for example, after 3 characters, I want to have the first split. And then maybe also after, let's say, 7 characters, I want to have the second split. So first split at 3 and then at 7. So like this, we can be very specific, very detailed, and then this will be split. And note, the last one will be just everything that is left. But of course, in our case, this doesn't make sense, so we are deleting this step again. And now we notice actually that in the city and also actually in the state, we can almost not see it, but there's a leading white space. So this occurred just after our split. Of course, we could have avoided this also in the beginning by choosing a different delimiter, but we now want to have a look at how we can also fix it by using some text operations. So therefore, in the next lecture, let's have a look at the text operations.
For watching the video till the end. Please leave your thoughts below so we can discuss more about the topic. If you'd like to suggest a video that could help the community, feel free to message me on X or Instagram. We also share short videos on Instagram, so make sure to follow us there. Feel free to reach out. We'd love to hear from you, and might even create a video based on your suggestion. Thanks again for being part of our community. See you in the next video.